Minasan konbanwa. It's the way to say in Japanese. Sorry for my pronunciation, I apologize. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back on the All Japan Sports Prototype Championship, second episode today at the beautiful venue of Suzuka Circuit, or I should say Suzuka Circuit. Again, I apologize for my bad Japanese pronunciation. That is known as the also Suzuka International Racing Course or Suzuka Circuit. It's a motorsport racetrack, obviously, long 5 kilometers, 800 meters or 3.6 miles. What a good crash we are seeing. Nice. So a good start for what is this episode. And what to say to this beautiful venue that since 1962, if I'm not wrong, September 62, started to present the beautiful country of Japan all around the world. Well, we can say that it is located in Ino, Suzuka City, Mie Prefecture, and it is nowadays operated by the Honda Mobility Land, a subsidiary of Honda Motor Company Limited. The capacity for crowd is up to 155,000 people. It was a track that was decided to be developed by Soichiro Honda, the founder of the Honda Motor Company, to find out a new permanent circuit in the Mie Prefecture in the late 50s. Initially, it was designed as a Honda test racetrack in 1962 by the Dutchman John Hans Hugenholtz. The most iconic feature of the track, its figure 8 layout with the 1.2 kilometers long back straight passing over the front section by means of an overpass. It is one of only two FIA Grade 1 licensed tracks to have a figure 8, the other one being the Fiorano Circuit private test for Ferrari. At least 8 times the circuit has been modified. In 83, a chicane has been inserted at the last curve to slow the cars into the pit straight, also because the original circuit was an incredibly fast track with only one slow corner. And without this Casio chicane, some cars would go through the final long right-hand corner flat out and then would go past the pits at more than 200 miles per hour or 300 kilometers per hour. In 1984, the first part of the Spoon section was made slightly slower and the corner was brought closer to the track to expand the run-off area. In 85, the first corner was made again slightly slower. In 87, the circuit was brought up to Formula 1 and Grand Prix motorcycle standards for both Japanese Grand Prix of their respective championship, the F1 Grand Prix being the first held also at Suzuka. The Degner curve was made into 2 corners instead of one long curve, and more crash barriers, more runoff areas were added. Exposed vegetation was barricaded off and straw bales were removed, but still used for the Japanese motorcycle Grand Prix that has different needs compared to 4-wheel cars. Again in 2002, the chicane was slightly modified. The corner 130R, marked as corner number 15 on the diagram, was also modified, and some of the snake curves were made a bit straighter and faster. Additionally, the runoff area at the Dunlop curve was doubled from 12 meters to 25 meters, and the corner itself was made slightly tighter. In 2003, the chicane was made slightly faster and closer to the 130R. The circuit can be used in 5 configurations: the car full circuit, the motorcycle full circuit, the Suzuka East and Suzuka West car, well known, I suppose, to Gran Turismo players, and finally the Suzuka West motorcycle configuration. So with this all Japanese championship with just some mixture that we will see in the cars selection, I think we can go on track to discover which cars will participate in today's race of 1 hour again. So following this chapter to say welcome, we will see the car selection, the qualifying session, and then the race. So see you on track. So here we are today with the All Japan Sport Prototypes Championship. We go back with Jeff Krosnoff and the Jaguar XJR14 Santec sponsored compared to the Silk Cut seen in Europe, but the car is absolutely the same monster with a V8 naturally aspirated Ford HP engine, 3.5 liters. There is a nice interview of Martin Brundle, who actually won with this car many times, did by his son Alex, if I'm not wrong, that I recently watched on YouTube, where he explains Martin, how was particular driving this car. We start then with the non-European cars, so just the Japanese ones. The Mazda 787 of the Mazda Speed year 1990. The 787B model will bring the number 55. Some of you may remember the Le Mans 91 edition, and the number 18 with the Ifini or Efini sponsorship. Beautiful indeed, the model is the same. We will see also the Mazda MX-R01 that is very similar to the Jaguar XJR14, because as I said many times maybe in the previous episodes, also not only of the All Japan Sport Prototypes Championship, was basically the same car with mounted a V10 JAD engine that allowed this car to participate to 92 season when rotary engines were banned by the FIA. We will see 3 models, all equal, apart from the sponsorship of the renowned historic one. We will see the Kajima, and we will see also the original Mazda racing team drivers. I forgot to say Krosnoff on the Jaguar XJR Santec sponsored. Here we will have Mauricio Sala, Yorino, Terada, San. The trio winning the Le Mans the previous year, Volker Widler, Johnny Herbert and Bertrand Gachot, the last 2 seen also in Formula 1 more often than Widler. Again, the Kajima will have the same equipe of the number 5, so Sala, Yorino, Terada, San. I forgot to mention on the 55 as well, we will have Widler, Herbert, Gachot. On the 18 there isn't specified the numbers of drivers or the names, so I'm sorry, I do not remember them, but we will see them once on track. The 787 was bringing instead Dudon and the Irish driver Kennedy. Together with Krosnoff at the wheel there was also the Italian Mauro Martini, that had quite a long career in Japan, so really an Italian ace. Let's go ahead, this time with Nissan, with the model NP35, year 93, the year of the demise of Group C, so we haven't had the opportunity to see this monster in Europe, unluckily. We can say the same thing, unluckily, again for the P35, the MPT1 Nissan 93 car, very similar apart from some details, maybe the air scope and something else. Never seen in Europe, was a V12 naturally aspirated mid-mounted engine. Absolutely a beautiful car. Thank you Bernie Eccleston for not showing us these monsters in Europe, and not only. Thank you Zio Bernie Ont. Nissan R90 CK year 1990, Nissan Motorsport. You have seen this car at Le Mans, I'm sure. The number 24 will be driven by Julian Bailey and the Italian Brancatelli. The CP model of the year 92, the Nissan Motorsport, again seen in Japan many times. At the wheel, Hoshino and Suzuki Sun. We go then with Porsches, the 956B from AJSPC, a very famous sponsorship in Japan, at the wheel Yoneyama and Oguchi-san. The sponsorship is absolutely gorgeous, with a double paint scheme, yellow-black contrast, beautiful. Number 27. The number 7 with the Taka Q, again famous sponsorship back then, Klaus Ludwig and Paolo Barilla, the couple of the trio that won also the 24 Hours of Le Mans. This was the model 956B respectively, 86 of the Yost Racing with Barilla Ludwig, 85 from AJSPC. Going then to the 962, we will have another from A Nova sponsorship, year 88, still number 27. This time will be driven by Okada-san and Stanley Dickens. Change of sponsorships, the presence of Marlboro, the STP lubricants, and so on. But was absolutely another beautiful monster to be seen today. So we moved from 86, 85, 88. An updated version, the 962 CK6. We start from the oldest one, because all three from Porsche Kremer Racing. Year 88, number 10, Kenwood sponsored, two German guys, Manuel Reuter and Volker Widler. Year 1990, again Kenwood sponsored, this time with Bernd Schneider and Sarel van der Merwe, the current Director of Safety for Formula 1. Number 11, the following year, sponsored by the Marukazu company, we have again Manuel Reuter, Harry Toivonen, brother of the unlucky Toivonen you may remember for Group B rally cars, and J.J. Leto, Jirki Jarvi Leto, yes, the Formula 1 driver. Year was 1991. Another update with the Richard Lloyd private entry, the 962 GTI, still from the 1990 year. We have a well silhouette type of race car, at the wheel Reuter and James Weaver, one of my heroes. Same sponsorship, just tiny difference in the aerodynamics with less profiles here and there. This time a Le Mans car with the addition of J.J. Leto at the wheel. Remember J.J. Leto because then he was the maybe main actor for the win under a rainy condition of Le Mans in 95 or 96, where he won with the McLaren F1 GTR. Last set of Porsches seen in Japan. There will be 3 times from the 89 season, the last one will be a 1990 season. Yost, Takefuji, Omron, Trust Racing Team. Let's start with the first, Yost Racing, beautiful sponsorship similar to the Richard Lloyd we have seen. At the wheel Bob Wollek, Hans-Joachim Stuck and Johnny Winter. Simply beautiful. The following one, the Takefuji sponsored one, at the wheel Jean-Pierre Jarier, the French ace, the Swede Elon, and yes, the ace Brian Redman. An Omron sponsored one, well seen many times in Japan. 2 Australian guys at the wheel, Vern Schuppan and Gary Brabham, the son of Jack, of Black Jack. Then the last one, the Niseki sponsored one, with the number 63, we will see behind the wheel the German Fuchs, the Swede Ansgar and the Japanese Kazuya-san. We move back to the GTP Porsche seen also at Motegi, the Bayside Disposal year 85 with the Bridgestone tiny sponsorship, but was, let's say, a sort of pure American IMSA prototype seen at the other part of the ocean. I wanted anyway to have a sort of wild card with a tiny Japanese sponsorship from Bridgestone to be there in the mix to see how performances were similar or not to the other selection of just Japanese contenders for the All Japan Sport Prototypes Championship. The other one instead is a Yokohama pure Japanese sponsored with James Weaver and Bob Aikin, badly written here, unluckily, with the last Porsche seen today. We start from the bottom, Nissan, and then we will conclude with the Toyota's Group C, the R91 CK of the Nova Engineering from the year 92. As you can see, the sponsorship coming from Porsche's years before has moved to Nissan, with the From A, the STP lubricant, but was anyway a car registered also for the Camel GT IMSA GTP seasons, but seen also in Japan. We go back up to 87 and 89, still in GTP. We have the 87 Electromotive Engineering number 008 or just 8 printed on the chassis. It was a car that I initially had many issues to win in the IMSA Camel GT, but then with the work of Geoff Brabham, of Forbes Robinson, etc., this car has become an almost unbeatable vehicle to have at the end of the 80s in US, together with the 83 with Chip Robinson at the wheel. Year 1889, if I'm not wrong. Yes, I did it. Toyota, starting from the most recent models, we will see 293 edition, 292 edition, all from the Toyota Team Toms. Let's start with the 37 of the 93, seen luckily briefly in Europe in the previous year, or at least at Le Mans. Pierre-Henri Raffanel, Kenneth Hexon, Andy Wallace, one of my glorious heroes. Beautiful car indeed. Number 38, still seen at Le Mans, at the wheel, Geoff Lees, Jan Lammers, Juan Manuel Fangio, the nephew of the great Juan Manuel. 1 year before, 92, we get this monster with Lees, Brabham, Ukyo Katayama, XF1 driver with the number 7, the number 8 with Jan Lammers and Andy Wallace. You will distinguish them. The 92 versions have lights, front headlights for Le Mans. The 93 versions are just, or were just prepared for the then demised World Sports Car Championships. So the number 7 and the number 8 will not have the front headlights. Closing with Toyota 92 CV, still from the year 92, Toyota Team Sard the first one and AJSPC Team with Sard the second one. Just a brief note on the Team Sard, it is the same name Sard we have seen with the Sports Car 100 Minutes on our channel, bringing the Sard GT2 class car to race some years after the demise of the Group C, so mid-90s. The 92 CV version will have Sequilla-san and Pierre-Henri Raffanel Esso sponsored. Same year, the Kids Toyota, number 39, will show Roland Ratzenberger and the Swede Elg. Then finally, the last model, both from the Toyota Team Toms. Let's start with the 36, the Minolta sponsored with Geoff Lees, Ogawa and Sequilla-san, Minolta Toyota sponsored, and some partners. The 37 will be the Taka Q sponsored, like we have seen with the Porsche. At the wheel, Aguri Suzuki, Johnny Dumfries and Roberto Ravaglia. Beautiful indeed. For this race, you may have seen what was the cover. The car, more or less recognizable, was this one. Why? I wanted to say and celebrate a bit Roland Ratzenberger, that unluckily this year will be reminded and remembered especially for losing his life at Imola on the 30th of April 1994. So almost 30 years ago we have lost a true great driver, competitor, that in Japan did very well, and not only in Japan, especially when he was racing in the Group C themed prototypes category. So I wanted to celebrate Roland with this 1 hour at the Suzuka Circuit with the 1988 version, that is a mid-average version available for what is the set of cars chosen for today. So the summary will say that we will race 1 hour with a changeable rainfall, maybe who knows, condition, starting at 1300 in the afternoon, rolling start, 35 contenders, 36 with us, and this is the maximum cars slot for the 88th version of Suzuka, 100% strength. We will just run qualification just to be sure to avoid the mess of what is usually the starting grid. So let's go on track. And so here we are in the pit together with the Toyota TS as a teammate for the box today, but we will talk about this Toyota 92 CV that was a prototype racing car built by Toyota as a Group C and later as an LMP car. It raced in the 24 hours of Le Mans for 3 years, also took part in the final year of the All Japan Sports Prototype Championship during the 92 season, and although with different names, the same 2 cars were used at the 24 hours of Le Mans for 3 years and simply updated each year. A third chassis was used for the 92 All Japan Sports Prototype Championship. The car was powered by a 3.6 liters V6 turbo engine, obviously from Toyota, and with a weight we can guess around 900 kilograms. Was absolutely a crazy vehicle to drive, considering that back then, between race trim and qualifying trim, the freedom to play with the turbo boost was at the end of its era, but was still there. So maybe we can guess that the maximum power output was close to 1000 brake horsepower. So for us today is just left to go on track, try to qualify as much as possible in a good way this beautiful car, and tribute a bit to Roland, something I'm sure he would have achieved if he had had time to demonstrate to the rest of the world how good he was. Welcome back. Day 1 of qualifying. Let's try to accelerate the time and see what will be, generally speaking, the output of racing here. I had to tweak a bit the AI levels just because they were running basically 10 seconds faster than this, around 47, 48 per minute, and it was really maybe too much, maybe compatible with Grand Tourers from a grip point of view, but for this mod we would have seen another impossible to catch levels of AI, considering that in free practice I did run between 1:59 2 minutes 01 per lap, and so that will be a decent and fair performance in the top 20. Instead, using the original grip level that I will show you at the end of the video, you would get them running 10 seconds faster than this with the Group C mod, and believe me, it's almost impossible to catch not only the leaders, I mean in general, almost impossible to catch anybody. So with this will be a fair battle to qualify the car in the top 20, I think, maybe in the top 15 if I will put in the right order all of my ducks. How much I love this sentence in English. And also you will see a different maybe wearing from myself, different hair setup, just because unluckily due to my daily job I'm recording qualifying and race on a different day compared to the previous view of what you have seen previously with the welcoming, with the car's selection, the first lap on track, cars seen here and there. I mean, a different day just to complete finally, at least at the end of the month, what is my plan to upload as much as possible races, stories, cars, drivers and so on. So nothing to add more, to be fair. I just wait to go down to 20 minutes to have one single shot for our qualification. As you can see, currently on top we have a mix of Porsches and Nissan, so they are the beast to be beaten. The first, let's stop a minute, the first Toyota is a Sequoia Rafanel with the 92C model, equal to what we are going to race today. Dumfries Suzuki and Geoff Lees and Sequoia San with the Toyota 90 CV. Now the Mazda MX-R placed themselves in between. Yeah, so as was originally developed by the new rules for the Group C and the arrival of the demise at the beginning of the 90s, 93 if I'm not wrong, I see Group C very quick, and the most recent Toyota TS010 or 010 not really competitive compared to the Group C. That can be anyway a fair and honest thing, considering that the Group C cars had incredible power from the engines. Maybe they had less handling, less I would say capacity of cornering at high speed compared to the modern Group C of the beginning of the 90s, but from an engine point of view they moved from I would say as an average 900-1000 brake horsepower down to 650, 70, 100, maybe not more. For what I remember, I have not studied enough. Anyway, given that we are the only car not running so far apart from the two Nissans P35, I think that with 26 minutes to go we can go on track and try to place ourselves, let's say, around 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 1. I would be happy to repeat the same lap time of Sequoia Rafanel with the Toyota 92 CV. That was also very consistent, around 2 minutes 2 seconds, 2 minutes 3 seconds, with the fourth launched lap as the best one. To do this, I'm going to load the car setup prepared before, that from a race point of view maybe will last to cover absolutely all the distance of the race. So could be a strategy depending on the result of the qualification, or we can maybe think to stay around 50 liters, change tires and then do the rest of the race, but we will see. So for the qualification I would embark 15 liters for 4 laps, should be enough. Front and rear will be soft. For the race maybe we will move to hard and hard, because the previous tentatives I did were absolutely struggling using just a soft compound for the race. With the maximum load of fuel the car struggles to consume tires in a predictable way, and you lose after a few laps almost immediately the grip. So this is the final page 1, you can screenshot it if you like. This is the second. As a general thing, I don't know if I'm improving my skill levels of driving or not, but especially for this vehicle I was not, let's say, close to my usual hard, stiff front end and completely soft rear end. This time I've been a bit more softer at the front and a bit harder at the rear, but we will see on track the result. So welcome on board. The car is absolutely stunning, beautiful in this livery. So we will try to in some way remember Roland also with a car where he produced a lot of good races. As usual, I would use the first lap to...
Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Yellow flag in sector 1.
The first lap to warm up tires. If you use a modern equipment of steering wheel with a strong force feedback, this mode, especially this car, is absolutely bred for your mouth. If you allow me to translate an Italian sentence, because it's very heavy to be driven. It gives you a lot of informations. It's not an easy car to drive, absolutely. I let the Jaguar through, Jeff Krosnoff. And maybe we will take the slipstream. And let's go. And sorry if I will shut up. Luckily, a slower car is preventing me to conclude in a decent way the last lap, so I will let the others go. I give up and I will retry. Okay, you see at 2 minutes 05 was a previous tentative where then I decided to give up, just because I have found the slow car in front. So let's try this single shot, and if it will be a bad lap, we will keep the position 29. We can improve it. Oops, almost lost the car, not good, Marco. Bravo. What could have been a good lap time with fresh tires has become an abortion. So we'll slowly crawl again to the start finish line. Okay, last time. It's a do or die, no more tentatives, no more mistakes allowed. Let's see. Very understeering. Okay, 2 minutes 0.7 P17. It's within the range of performances of this car, and if you go back to have a look to the old lap times scored here, it's also reality, I would say, between 83 and 92. Every time that a Group C car has come here has more or less scored a lap time around 155, 53 in the best situation. Here we are racing with a mix of different eras, but as I will show you at the end of this video as a sort of postscriptum note, if you, like me, encounter strange lap times had in a particular track, you can simply play with what is the grip available for AI on a specific circuit, just easily calculating what is the difference between real lap times and what the game offers to you. Fine, so we place our car in P17, 2 positions ahead of the Sekei Yarafanel equal model, if I'm not wrong. Just 2 different teams, the Toyota Team Sard and the AJSPC team with Sard, but the model was exactly the same, 92 CV, 92 CV. If we have a look to the undecent type of performances, you can see all the times I did give up on qualifying the car, and the final tentative, the original one, as you have seen, was ruined, let's say, by a slower car, and in the future maybe we will keep anyway trace of this situation, accepting the original lap time scored in the single tentative, but you will tell me maybe in the comments below. But I wanted anyway to show what was the real potential of this car, at least driven by myself. It's around 2 minutes, as I've said. I hoped for a 1:59 something, but was not reachable. But nonetheless, we are the first Toyota on the grid, at least from a performance point of view, not bad. Leaders are Porsches and Nissans, and there is also the Krosnov Martini Jaguar, at least mixing up things up to the top 10, but as you can see, many Porsches, like in real life, were absolutely great cars, especially until the arrival of the last part of the 80s. then Japanese manufacturers started to be very competitive of the likes of Mazda, Nissan and Toyota. As a general, I would say, footnote about this special All Japan Sports Prototype Championships, I must add the fact that anyway, out of 250 races held in a period of 10 years as a time frame from 82 to 93, if I'm not wrong, more than half of races have been won by Porsche. Then Nissan, Toyota, etc. had an average of 20 or 30 races won, especially in the last part of the decade, where the All Japan Sport Prototypes was a daily championship for Japan, and not only because we have seen how many drivers anyway coming from Europe and US participated in that beautiful venue that is Japan and around those beautiful tracks of Japan. But anyway, we go on with the qualification accepting our P17. Hopefully we will be, let's hope, good enough also within the race, maybe trying to achieve a top 10 position. I will be repetitive until I will become boring more than I am. At the end of the video I will show you how to affect the AI grip with a single tweak, single touch, and then accordingly arrive to bring closer to your average performances a complete starting field. That being said, let's save the game. Qualifying has finished, so we can continue to race jumping the warm-up. So we should be in a right spot. Yes, P17 at the start. So maybe at the end this is the final solution for the bug of GTR2. Do whatever type of session you like, but jump the warm-up. We reloaded the setup. This time we'll have 100 liters that will last for 57 minutes. So maybe we can risk and try a maybe slower strategy, trying to save a bit of fuel and avoid a pit stop that would cost one full lap compared to not doing a pit stop. So 2 minutes for a complete full service. So I would go for hard compound front and rear. The rest I would avoid to touch it and save it as a final solution. So ready to start. Let's go on track. Okay, luckily no car parade. Strange, but at this point who cares? I will leave the artificial intelligence to drive in the first part of the formation lap. So 1 hour race starting from P17 out of 36 cars. Let's try to bring home this beautiful monster from Toyota, that at this point currently is the first Toyota available on track, and then we will see each other hopefully at the end of the race at the checkered flag. Okay, a few moments before the start. Already broken 5.3 seconds of needed repairing for the aero of the car. Shouldn't be a massive issue. After the Casio chicane we should get the green flag. Not yet. Ooh, maybe we will do another. Yes, no, green flag. We were just slow. My goodness. What a start just to keep the P17. Nothing special, was just a hard start. And now it will be a matter of warming up tires as soon as possible to compete with the others. try this external pass to Optimist. No, we can do it. The hard compound obviously will require more time to go up in temperatures. And I'm already overdriving the car with cold tires. I must avoid it. No, almost lost. Okay.
There's a yellow flag in sector 2. Yellow flag in sector 2. Eyes open, okay?
Yes. No, 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 no. Ah. Bravo Marco. Okay, just aerodynamics, but and we are just P24, so there is a long gap between P23 and P22. So everything to be rebuilt. Lost 30 seconds as a minimum time lost because of my mistake with cold tires. What a rookie. Mistake. One lap, guys. Following Reuter, James Weaver with the Richard Lloyd Porsche 956 GTI or CKC, I don't remember the correct model. Okay, one pass accomplished, at least. Okay, back in P24, looking for Jan Lammers and Annie Wallace on the Toyota TS10, our sister car, sister cousin maybe. And before reaching them, maybe I must learn to stay on track. Okay, the housing is here. Struggling to follow another Toyota. Omron, white and blue. Yes, it's a RC90 maybe. And in front there is a Mazda MX-R01 that we will drive, I promise, very soon. Yes, it's the Joffley's Sequoia. It's our real sister. Maybe struggling a bit. It's almost broken in the bumper. The bumper. The rear left side. Yes, they're struggling. I'm struggling too. Bravo Marco. Bad choice of the hard compound. It will last until the end maybe, but the grip is absolutely over my skills. So unless I find a way to warm up properly tires. Okay, one down. A trio of Toyota. Dumfries Suzuki are running a RC90, I do not remember. And this is the good thing that you can see coming from the past and reappearing now with the hypercars solution for the WEC and IMSA WeatherTech Endurance Championship. The fact that you can purchase a competitive and winning car from Porsche, from Van Wall, from whoever you like, and be competitive. Like in the past, we have this car of the kids team with Sard. You see in front a white and blue Minolta sponsored similar model. Our back there is the yellow and black Taka Q sponsored, and we pass also the last Toyota maybe to pass today. Now let's try to catch Porsches and Nissans. not knowing how many laps we will have as a coverage, hoping to arrive to the end. Okay, almost catching two slower cars during the qualifying period are the two Mazdas MXR01 white colored with the official Mazda racing team. Okay, if I could go back to the race strategy, I would do a 50 liters coverage, front soft tires, rear hard compound to avoid overheating, and maybe add what? A stupid move. Add a single pit stop to pull out from the car the best performances. So far my best lap time after 1/4 of race done is 2:06, so 6 seconds slower than the others. Sorry, slower than myself in qualifying trim, but with a lot of understeer to cope with, and very soon I will finish also the green area for the front grip value. You can see on the top left corner of the screen. In 15 minutes we have used almost 25 liters, so 1/4 of race gone, 1/4 of fuel used. And if I succeed on passing the trio of Mazdas MXR01 that are slower anyway than this Toyota model, we will go back to P18 and will be a real performance position for today. So given that the car is using exactly the amount of fuel, sorry, needed for a bad pass, we should arrive to the end, at least with the fuel. I don't know with tires. Try to be close before the Casio chicane. No. Silly and stupid Marco following a car so close to lose the downforce. Second rookie mistake today. Okay. 22 minutes gone, we are approaching half of the race. I've almost rebuilt what is the gap I got with the trio of Mazdas here. so we should be there in a couple of corners, even if the current tire usage and wearing is starting to generate a considerable level of understeer with the front end. So I'm trying to drive around the problem, the issue. I'm moving back to the 59% percentage of the brake bias from 60. I want to see if anything changes for the type of attitude the car has while entering corners.
Careful now, looks like there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Sector 3.
Okay, we have a couple of cars in front. Maybe we can pass, hopefully. And this is a good moment because there is something slower in front.
There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Eyes open, okay?
Yes, the Kenwood Porsches are maybe the overlapped cars that created not only my late qualifying lap but also this temporary struggle for a lot of other cars. So we are now in P16. "24 seconds, 25 from the leader, far." But still with a bunch of cars directly competing with us. We struggle a bit with top speed, but we need more grip given the type of car we are driving. I was thinking to be the last Toyota starting from the back of the field, and instead we pass two cars struggling with what I don't know. Now maybe we are the first Toyota on the in the ranking, sorry, catching Azemi Oshino. It should be the drivers, a couple of drivers racing the beautiful Nissan RC in front of us. Half of the race gone, 59 liters in the tank, so we will not have to refuel the car, luckily, but I'm more worried about tires consumption, because it's true we are just 22 seconds far from the leader, Rosnoff-Widler, or Widler, sorry. But I'm not sure.
Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Yellow flag in sector 1.
I'm not sure if I will be in the condition to defend myself if they will pit and if they will come back with a fresh set of tires. Drag race. Yes, was a overlapped car. We used the traffic to our advantage, P12. But, wow, what a level of downforce entering this huge last corner before the Casio triangle. So maybe we were fakely ahead of the Azemi Oshino Nissan, but was just something temporary. So back to P13. Okay, another opportunity because I think we got many cars overlapped or struggling with overlapped cars. Let's see. Yes, they touch. We can sneak inside maybe. Not really.
Heads up, there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Yellow flag in sector 1.
This time we paid a toll. Because the Mazda is overlapped and is not a direct contender. Good, the Nissan was struggling, P12, Asai Okada 1 second ahead, in front. Let's see, should be the red car in front. We have maybe less lag when the turbo kicks in, starting from slower corners than the Porsches. This is a good point, given that we will have to pass a Porsche, the red one in front of us. Yes, maybe then they are quicker, but we can take advantage of this. Close maybe the door. And remember to brake before the chicane. P10, they were Herbert Donnelly. Okay, within points with 21 minutes to go. And potentially 1 second, 0.5, half. Yes, 1 second and a half. From Stuck Wallach with the pink Porsche 962. For the first time from the start, since the start of the race, sorry, less than 10 seconds from the leaders. If they will stop for a full service.
There's a yellow flag in sector 2. Yellow flag in sector 2. Eyes open, okay?
We may think to almost do a gamble, not stopping, but then we will see if we will resist till the end from a pure performance point of view. And not only P9 but also P8 on site, if I do not screw up everything like I usually do, because we have also Krosnov and Martini with the violet Jaguar XJR14 in front of this Porsche 962C. And again the mistake of trusting the slipstream on a fast corner, when I can pass them easily here. 17 minutes to go, almost the last quarter of this 1 hour race. Okay, it's a good moment because there was another left car coming out from the pit, and Krosnov Martini struggled to pass them immediately. Now I'm pushing too much, honestly. Yes, the grip is going away. 7 seconds from Brabham and Gloy something, sorry, I do not remember the surname, they are too much. So maybe if I do not screw up or make mistakes, this will be a P7 final result. Not bad at all. First time for me at Suzuka with a prototype of the 80s, 90s. Beautiful track, but I think over my possibility, or beyond my possibility. Okay, some cars are pitting now. 10 minutes to go, so we will pass very well to P4. Unsurprisingly for them, maybe, I don't know, or surprisingly for us. The Jaguar of Krosnov Martini still catching us. Another Kenwood Porsche to be overlapped. Marco. Yes. Because we reduced a bit the gap from 30 seconds to 15 now from the leaders, but who knows if they will stop, and if they will stop I will need all the possible time at my advantage to then resist to the return they will have, the comeback they will put in place with fresh tires at least. While on top left corner you are seeing me losing half of the grip available, and will be worse in a couple of laps. Pitting also Brabham and Gloy, P3.
flag in sector 2. Yellow flag in sector 2. Eyes open, okay?
Six minutes and 30 seconds to go. Will be 400 seconds. Krosnoff-Widler pitting now. So we go P2, just Barilla Ludwig with 4 minutes and a half to go. A bit wide. Less than 10 seconds now against, sorry, looking at Barilla Ludwig.
Careful there, looks like there's a yellow flag in sector 3.
The Mazda is not keen to let us pass, despite being overlapped. Barilla Ludwig not going to the pit. Two minutes to go, they will not go now. So we are covered for 8 laps when very possibly.
Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Yellow flag in sector 1.
There will be just this lap and the next one. So they are uncatchable. Unless the overlapped cars will help me. No, no more tires, sorry. I must just resist to arrive second, possibly. Hardest race of my life, this one. Just 1 hour, but it's the hardest so far. If they do not go to the pit, it will be a P2 in a definitive way, so the single pit stop strategy was not the winning one. Yes, they go to the pit now. Barilla Ludwig at the pit with 22 seconds to go. I cannot wait 10 seconds here because we'll arrive Krosnov Martini, so this lap will be mandatory, but there is a concrete possibility for a win if I will not shunt the Toyota. So if they have not retired, they are still in the pit. Let's see if they come out or not. No, they retired at the last lap, in the last lap. So we get over these overlapped cars. 11 seconds of defense. And the Thrustmaster has gone another time. Believe it or not. This is a bug.
There's a yellow flag in sector 2. Yellow flag in sector 2. Eyes open, okay?
Yes, and the force feedback has gone now. No more force feedback. I am driving, but it's like in a silly way, because looks like there is a sort of glue in your hands. No more force. If it is a clip, I don't know, but at least we had enough time of advantage to bring Ratzenberger
That's what I'm talking about, man. Good job. Hell yeah. Man, we're going crazy to pits
What a lucky ending. What a lucky ending. We win the Suzuka 1 hour, almost a sprint race for this All Japan Sport Prototypes Remixed Championship, but with a final drama of the Thrustmaster giving up under load. Don't ask me why, I don't know. It's the second time it happens with GTR2, and I don't know if it is a bug of GTR2 or not. Oh damned. Oh damned. I don't like this bug, or this bug of the game, I don't know, but it happened like if you have seen the Harama race of the WTCC I've raced together with you with the Maserati. At a certain point of the race, half of the race, there was a moment where this steering wheel engine stopped to work. You go straight, you lose the control, then you get it back like if it was a reset of the steering wheel, and you can continue to race, but you don't have, let's say, the bite anymore. You just have a steering wheel without force feedback, and you have this dead zone in between. As you can see, the car goes straight, but even if I move the steering wheel, doesn't make properly corner the car. This is a bad, absolutely bad bug of the game, or of Thrustmaster drivers, or Thrustmaster hardware. I don't know. I don't really know. But guys, with a bit of advantage, at least we win a race. Sometimes happens. 29 laps in 1 hour for the Toyota R92 CV, with a beautiful first and two, because
Watch for your pit space. Watch for your pit space.
not only this car was driven by Roland Ratzenberger,
Okay, slow the car down.
and so what a beautiful win, not for iKeysRacing or Marco. This beautiful car was driven by Roland Ratzenberger, so I'm happy to see him where at least virtually he deserves to be, at the top of the podium. And in second place, another great name of the past, and luckily not with us since 96, if I'm not wrong, Jeff Krosnoff, together with the Italian Mauro Martini, arriving second with the Jaguar XJR14. More than happy about it, absolutely. Beautiful to see two great drivers that didn't have the possibility, like many others, to properly drive their career. Then Terada Iorino with the Mazda MXR01, together with Sala Terada with the other Mazda. The two white Mazdas we have passed between P10 was, maybe, for what I remember, was something like this. So they arrived at the end not stopping like we did, without trying to gamble in some way, to make a gamble, without refueling and without changing tires. Then Matsumoto Shupan with the Porsche 962, of the, don't remember the team, of the Omron Racing Team Shupan, nice. Sekiya Rafanel Toyota R92 CV, the same model we did drive, P6. 7th, again Krosnoff Widler with the Nissan R91 CK, Herbert Widler Mazda MXR01, Brabham Gloy Nissan GTP, ZX T. 10th, Dickens Okada with the Porsche 962. And let's see, so Kids Racing Team with SAR, not the official Toyota. Silk Jaguar, the official Jaguar, yes. The official Silk Cut Jaguar, maybe sponsored as Suntech, I don't remember. Mazda Speed official racing team. Omron Racing Team Shupan is a privateer with a Porsche 962C. Sekiya Rafanel, our teammates, despite from a car point of view not the same team. This one was the official Toyota team Sard. Nova Engineering with the Nissan R92 CK. Krosnov Vidler should be the yellow one with from a Nova sponsorship, yellow and black sponsorship. Another Mazda Speed P8. Electromotive Engineering is a privateer of the GTP category, end of the 80s IMSA GT Camel Championship, running an official Nissan despite being a privateer. And 10th, Dickens Okada with a Porsche 962 SZ of the From A Nova sponsorship, still the yellow and black one. So, wow, let's go to see the best lap times. Again, I was far 2 seconds and half from Reuter Widler Barilla Ludwig best lap time, so I was not anyway there to win with the same strategy. It's true, without the same strategy I would have done my pit stop half of the race, so maybe I could have been a bit quicker, maybe 2:03 per lap, I don't know. I would say 2:04 was already something, 5 seconds far from my best qualifying lap time, and so I'm happy, at least from my personal performance, but obviously far from the best ones. Just having a quick look to lap times. Here there was the cut of the chicane. Yes, I was not dramatically constant, but after half of the race the car was a bit quicker because of less fuel loaded. Maybe was also when I've moved the brake bias from 60 to 59 at the front, and so from 40 to 41 at the rear was a bit better. And yes, the last 2 laps were absolutely dramatic, especially the 217 with the problem of the Thrustmaster wheel. The first car arrived stopping for a full service was not even in the top 3. So the right strategy today for 1 hour race with this level of consumption and wearing of fuel and tires, the right strategy was to not stop for a single hour. Maybe I could have been more, I would say, conservative, maybe trying to do less mistakes. And if it wasn't for the decent gap at the end of the last lap with the issue, the bug of the game or the Thrustmaster steering wheel, but I think more of the Thrustmaster steering wheel, and I want to discover why. At the end, could have been not a P1. I mean, without mistakes and without the final bug, I think I've lost, I don't know, 1 minute overall, 30 seconds. Let's say here 7 seconds from the average lap time. Here 10 seconds maybe, and here another let's say 5 seconds. So in total, let's say an average of 30 seconds lost because my mistakes, at least. Again, another 7 here. So yes, let's say I've lost from my low skill level almost 1 minute full from the best, let's say, scenario where you do not make mistakes. But as you have seen, I'm not that kind of virtual driver. So losing almost 1 minute on track would have been finish P7, P8 with the same strategy like Matsumoto, Chupin and the others that stopped at a certain point. Let's see, Sequia, Rafanel, no, they didn't. So yes, was not really, yes, there were also cars, so was not anyway the best strategy to stop once. Let's see how many seconds they have lost if they stopped. Yes, 3 minutes 30 seconds, so 1 full minute lost, absolutely. And so apart from the right strategy, I would say I've lost anyway too many seconds here and there. Just for I think a lucky scenario, I didn't finish here, P7, P8, where you see a 1 minute of gap. But anyway, we bring luckily the Ratzenberger name on top of the podium like he deserves, so we can also in some way say hello to Roland for what he did, wherever he is now. Second position, as said, Krosnov Martini. I'm happy also for Jeff Krosnov to be seen here after 17 years without him. if I did the correct calculation. Yes, 96 2023. So really a nice addition, seeing these special names here and there, especially at the top of the podium. Thank you very much, arigato, dankeschön, merci beaucoup, muchas gracias, grazie for following so far. I just take the opportunity to say and to remember, if you like it, please subscribe and push the like button. You will help me to grow, but not me as Marco, but this community of race enthusiasts, of petrol heads. And maybe one day this will bring to do, as a community of petrol heads and race enthusiasts, something special for who lives less fortunate than us. And so thank you in advance for subscribing and for pushing the like buttons and for viewing and watching all the videos. I just take the opportunity to say that there is still open the poll that I will end at the end of April about IndyCar, about GT Legends, about Formula 1 Challenge. You will decide what will be the best choice for the community area on YouTube of the iKeysRacing channel page, and I will follow with my deep and complete pleasure the indication that will come from your decision, your votes. So thank you very much again. And before the classification, we'll follow also a little tip trick that is not deserving a full video. So thank you very much for watching again. Stay very well. Arigato, arigato, arigato to everybody. See you very soon on iKeysRacing channel. Stay well. Best wishes to you all. And see you very soon with another racing episode. Remember to stay into keen racing, and see you very soon. Ciao. Stay well. Bye. Best wishes. Ciao. Just to say that when you struggle to be really in the possibility to not catch the AI because it's too quick but in a overloaded way, and you cannot go below the 100% strength of AI, and the only thing you can do is keeping it at 100%, that is the minimum allowed in some tracks, in some modes, etc. I will show you how to affect a bit the grip of the track, the single track, so you have to modify the single track, but at least you can bring to a more real single and full race lap time point of view the behavior of the AI, because in this case we have seen cars running around 156, 157, 55 as a best performance. That was the real one. Without this tip trick that you are going to see, it was not, let's say, real, having cars of the mid-80s running at 144, 45, because back then was not the real performance of this type of cars on Suzuka. As a sort of footnote or postscriptum note, the way to affect performances of AI in a simple way, and then you can go to run and challenge yourself against anyway the best, but in a more proper real performance point of view. If you need to reduce from, for example, 100% the performance of your contenders, sometimes it is not enough and they continue to run like hell, and you basically cannot beat anyone, like happened, for example, with the Autopolis previous and first episode of this season. But a thing you can do without going less than 100% for the AI strength is to go to your PNG or GTR2 game data, locations, name of the track, and possibly, I don't know, version. For example, today we have used the 88th version. If you open up the Suzuka AIW, it is a general multi-data thing for your track. You can look for AI word, and sooner or later you will come, for example, to AI braking stiffness that could be, for example, placed instead of being 1.0, that to me was assumed as 100%, from 1.0 can become a 0.9, for example. It to me sounds like a 90%, but despite trying this version, I was not in any way happy with the pure lap time of each contender, starting from the top quickest. And for example, I continued to go on, for example, with the AI range was 1.0 reduced to 0.9, AI spec, etc. 4 ways to express AI speed on track. They were 1.0, all of the 4, reduced to 0.9, but really nothing happened for real, let's say. It was anyway impossible to catch them, and lap times were basically 10 seconds quicker than original lap times had back in the 80s. Then I have found instead a simple parameter to be changed, that is the GDB file, still under, in this case, 88 Suzuka. If you open it, and if you look for AI again, if you go on and look for still AI, artificial intelligence name, you will get some stripes like AI dry grip that originally was 102, so I was assuming 102%. If you reduce it to 0.80, to me sounds a sort of AI strength down to 80%, but suddenly lap times are absolutely compatible with what you can find in the reports of each race back in the 80s. And this one affected for real the lap time. So for example, originally was 1.02, and they were running at Suzuka 88 version in 1 minute 45, 46, 48 as an average, bringing them, let's say, the 22% less than the original figure. Now you have seen the race and the qualification, they were running around let's say 156 as an average. Is not a casual reduction from 102 to 0.80, because if I have to do a sort of conversion, let me allow to call it this way, when they were running at 1 minute 45 seconds as an average, in my mind was like if they were running 60 seconds plus 45 seconds. Okay, I've just converted the single minute, and this one was basically equal to 105 seconds for each lap. That was not real, because original lap times were more or less let's say around 1 minute 55 seconds, so they were 115 seconds. To lose in performances of the AI these 10 seconds, or to gain 10 seconds per lap, I needed to approach, let's say, 10% added lap time. 10% of 105 is 10.5 seconds. As a percentage, maybe could have been like doing a 0.90, so moving from 102% to down to 90%. But I've discovered that every 10% of reduction from the original figure, or 10% increase from the original figure, more or less every 10% is 5 seconds. So the original, let's say, figure here is minus 0.22, this number equals 10 seconds. On Suzuka you have to fine-tune it. Maybe in Monza it is different, and maybe at Le Mans is different, because tracks can be longer, shorter, have a different average lap time in seconds, or an average different speed for each lap. But let's say in an easy way, without struggling with modifying different parameters, this one in particular to me sounded like this way for Suzuka. I will tell you race by race if I will find anything different, and with the tests also did on wet surface, again I moved from 0.83 artificial intelligence wet grip down to 65%, and suddenly lap times were, with a wet condition, around 2 minutes and 5 seconds. With the new AI wet grip at 0.65, also 2 minutes 15 seconds for the slowest cars. And so that was the, let's say, eureka moment where I've discovered that I can change original parameters with an effect compatible with original lap times, and guess what? When you get an almost original real figure with original lap times, also your car becomes compatible with that figure. So that's it, very easy, I hope. Just remember always to write, if you don't want to create a backup file, just remember always to write close to the parameter you are changing your original figure, I mean its original figure, or vice versa, bring back the original figure, but remember to write down what was your original parameter, just to be sure that you get always a sort of compatible and understandable figure. As said, for Suzuka 88, a reduction of 22%, of 22 points, 0 to 22 points, but let's say 22%, was the correct figure. And changing these parameters was enough to create then in the game a sort of fake qualifying session, see which were the top 5 or 6 cars running at which level, and then accordingly reduce or increase the AI dry grip and wet grip by 5% each time to understand which was the right figure to get original lap times. So this was the, as said, eureka moment that completely helped me to get a real figure and, as said, be competitive like in the real figure. So really something easy, also because it is written under each track. So for example 67 Mexico maybe will have some parameters like 1.0 dry grip and 0.87 wet grip. You can change it, you can play with it and understand when you get a real figure with the lap times of AI driven car compatible with what is the original performance had in real life. So very easy. I hope it will help you like it helped myself to get an original figure. Thank you very much again. Bye bye.